Yeah, 21.
Dive in it. Dive in it. Dive in it. Dive in it.
What do you think it's called? Dive
in it. Dive in it. Dive in it. Dive in it. Dive in it.
D4G episode 21, season 2. Yeah, what it do? My D4Gistas. Welcome back. Diving for Glory, season 2, episode 21. Pep Corciola with my man Sir Solomon. What up?
You.
After all that busyness during the holiday, it's almost like a kind of like a break, because really the only two leagues in action are Premier League and La Liga, although League One did spark back up to much farm fare. Either way, man, don't forget Diving for Glory posts every Thursday and Monday. Thursday during the Champions League weeks, but our normal episodes come on every Monday. We're episode 21. We're approaching the halfway point, probably past that already. We're going to look at some EPL review, La Liga review, prestigious and egregious D4G award section. Don't forget, man, at Diving for Glory on Facebook and Twitter. And you can find us on YouTube, iTunes, and divingforglory.com. Just the Cup, Jersey Tug, Boots, Lace, Diving for Glory. Let's go. Yeah. How's it been, man? Snow day in DC. How's it been, Sir Solomon?
Boring on Saturday.
At least we had soccer for it, man. At least we had some football for it.
Barely. It was terrible football this weekend.
C'est terrible. Yeah, man. Start you off in the Premier League. Do this chronologically how we normally do. And that started off Saturday morning with West Ham at home to Arsenal.
You sound too excited.
West Ham.
Being asleep was a better option than watching this game. It was absolutely atrocious. Arsenal played, it was disgusting. Arsenal played with 7 defensive players, a guy that we don't know what his position is, and 2 strikers, and expected to create a lot of chances, and ended up with 0 big chances created for the whole 90 minutes against a team that is easy to get big chances on.
Damn.
They had Mustafi, Socrates, and Lauren Koscielny in a 3-man defense. In front of them, Ainsley, I don't know what the fuck Ainsley is, Maitland-Niles and Said Kolasinac as the wing-backs, also both defenders. Matteo Gondouzi and Granit Xhaka in the middle, both defensive midfielders. And then you have Alex Iwobi, who's supposed to bring this all together so that Alexander Lacazette and Pierre Aubameyang can fucking perform. If there was ever a game that screamed out for either Aaron Ramsey or Mesut Ozil to be part of, like, this was it. So, I don't know.
Yeah, Emery fucked it up. He just dropped the ball on this one.
Yeah, they didn't even look like they knew what to do. There was no fluidity. West Ham, their forward line looked nice, man. Like the way they and the funny thing is, if you just look at the names, West Ham has more creative players and better players up front in this game than they do.
I had a dream last night that I got picked up by West Ham.
Oh, man.
And I was so happy to play for Pellegrini and next to my boy, Nasty Nazir.
And your other boy, I'm not a bitch. I'm not a bitch in the house.
And Zab, don't forget Zab, man.
So,
but Nasri, Nasty
Samir Nasri on his return to the Premier League against the team who he started out the Premier League with and who now all the fans despise him. And he balled out. Him and Felipe Anderson were the two best players on the fucking field in that game.
Yeah, I don't think Nasri's ability's ever been in question. And good to see you back after you were doping for glory.
Yeah. Notoriously difficult person to get along with a little bit of a drug cheating issues.
Won a Premier League title under Pellegrini, so he's hoping that could rekindle. He's going to a coach that he knows, which I'm sure was
a lot of the places, the bigger clubs that he was at, his best performances would come playing in the middle, but he's not the best midfielder that they had, so they would always move him out of position, and he was always ineffective. But for a club like West Ham, talent-wise, Samir Nasri is above,
There's a lot. He's been sitting out.
It's
the last
like
2
Hatem
years.
Ben Arfa ending up in Nice. You know what I'm saying? He got the talent. He just incompatible with a lot of teams. So they got lucky with that. But him and Felipe Anderson really, really took it to them. Big up Declan Rice, who became instant West Ham legend. Scored his first goal against Arsenal. Spent the night out with West Ham fans, getting fucked up on Instagram.
Nice.
Nothing
Declan
like Rice.
Nothing like the Gram to solidify legendary status.
Hey, and the shots.
West Ham, all 3 points. The fuck, Arsenal. Moving along. Burnley something, kid. Burnley something. 2-1 over Fulham. This is after Fulham went up on a very nice opening goal. And then fuckery occurred.
Yes. Fulham managed to basically
3 goals.
Have a hat-trick and lose 2-1. They scored 2 fucking own goals in the space of 3 minutes.
And I mean legit own goals, not like deflections.
And this is after Andre Schürrle's stunning opening goal. I don't know about you, but I had forgotten he was still alive until I saw the fucking goal. And he really put him on the front foot that this team is too immature in the back to survive in the Premier League. And you can only make so many mistakes before it looks ridiculous. They're looking like a Sunday League team.
Yeah, man, those were like I said, these weren't even like deflections. These were like, I'm going to kick this in here and I'm going to head this in here. And now we're down. That's where we're supposed to be. Now let's start playing. Burnley with a much needed 3 points though. Ooh.
Yeah, that really set them apart because if Fulham had won this game, they would have been in 17 points and Burnley would have been at 18 points. Mm-hmm. And they would have really been closer to this relegation dogfight than they want to. It's already terrible, but fucking Fulham didn't want any part of this relegation fight. They want to go down early and just work on sending Ryan Sessegnon to somebody, basically.
Mm-hmm. All right, moving along.
And they have Seri there too, so if they get relegated, look to these guys next season. What the fuck? They're gonna be in some. They can't play in the championship. They're too good.
Too good. Moving along, Leicester City hosting Southampton. Southampton getting all needed 3 points. This is after they went down to 10 men. Leicester City with a dud here.
Yes, and Southampton is on form. They've been doing the thing lately.
Man, the second half was just peppering the goal by Leicester City, but that was after the red card. Southampton, man, gets all 3 points.
Yes, and by being a hot team right now, out of their last 5 games, they have 2 wins and a draw.
And that has moved them out of the relegation zone.
Very well. Can't wait to talk about Cardiff fucking guy.
Cardiff B. Moving along, though, before we get to that, Brighton and my man Hove hosting Liverpool. Brighton turned in a pretty good performance, actually, I thought, at home, which they typically do, but not enough.
Balled out, but once that dude got exposed one-on-one for that long with Mo Salah, it was going to be either a penalty or a goal. Nobody sent the dude out for 5 seconds. He was just out there turning him inside and out, and then he had to grab one of his shirt and kick him.
Yeah, and Brighton couldn't produce anything. No shots on goal, 7 total shots.
But I think they would have been very happy with a 0-0.
Oh,
they were not trying to produce anything.
No, I agree. I agree. But I'm saying after they went down, they couldn't do enough.
Yeah, it was like that. You felt how it was a backbreaker, and Liverpool actually didn't do too well against this team. They were in it in the last minute. Bong had a cross, and they didn't make it. But sometimes you gotta this is a championship caliber team in Liverpool, and this is how you get there. Is even the games where you're not playing good, you have to win. That is not to say you plan to play bad in that game. It's just you take it,
Yep. You get all 3 points there in the game that you didn't do that well, and I always say, man, 1-0s are a hallmark of a champion. It's not the only prerequisite, but usually you're winning a fair amount of games 1-0.
That performance, they're ravaged by injuries and stuff in the defensive line too.
Yeah. Fabinho playing center back.
So they should be happy with it, and I don't think they'll put in too many of those kind of performances.
Word up. Moving along, Cardiff B hosting Huddersfield, and if there was ever a moment when you felt like, hey man, Cardiff looks prime for 3 points here, man. At home against Huddersfield, they can't score. No.
Fucking Brexit is basically their manager's explanation for shit. Dude, they're doing good. They moved all the way out of the relegation zone, and their fucking idiot manager is now out there talking about how he fucking hates the being part of Europe and how Brexit should go on with it. And he said, "Fuck the rest of the world for all I care." And I'm like, nice. Now you have all these non-football people coming and interviewing and being all over the place and distracting this team that is barely out of the relegation zone.
Barely. Dude, they had 3 shots against Huddersfield
You should not
at home.
You should not be Brexit should not be part of your
lexicon at all.
Your life, you should be formations, gegenpressing, different kind of things, man. There's so much football your monkey ass needs to learn before you get into politics.
You're at home watching the news, motherfucker.
Yeah,
turn that shit
fire
off.
that man. You got a team where his starting lineup, he has 7 or 8 foreigners. You know that in the old first division, you couldn't play more than 3 foreigners legally. And you're trying to survive, and your best players are the guys that are from different countries, and you're talking all that shit. Shut the fuck up.
Like I said, man, 3 total shots at home, none on target, and then they get a point here. So,
yeah, with Aron Gunnarsson of Iceland and Victor Camarasa of South America,
Just don't sleep on Gunnarsson.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think that guy is going to get him in some shit. He's a bad coach. He's a championship caliber manager, and he should just stay there. And they should fire him before they go back there.
I think you've been resolute all year in saying that Cardiff is going down. Moving along, Crystal Palace hosting Watford. Wilfred Zaha has not scored in 15 games or some shit, and they take a L here.
Yes, off of beauty of a goal, actually. They took a halftime 1-0 lead off of this is a weekend of own goals. Craig Cathcart's own goal. And
he pulled that back, though.
Yeah, he made it happen. Mr. Hollebath gave him the assist, and he got it down to 1-1. And then Mr. Tom motherfucking cleverly, with a wicked volley, seals the game. And Crystal Palace at home was a thing. Now it seems like lately it's just been a toss-up. And these 2 teams, and Everton, West Ham, these are the teams talent-wise in the next level after you get past all the big teams. Now you have the games against the Palace, against Watford, English league football's tough opponents, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, Watford gets all 3 though, man. Still kind of doing their thing.
Dude, the fucking up thing about Watford is that you play them, and I hope that Crystal Palace has a week off, because you usually gonna lose that next game because they fucking put it on you. Mm-hmm. You get so tired of that. It's like old Stoke.
Old Stoke. Word up. Moving along, Chelsea hosting Newcastle United. Thought there was at least a potential for a draw here, and Newcastle almost pulled that out. But it was not to be. Some nice goals in this game, too.
Well-coached, well-drilled Newcastle against Chelsea, who's also that. But if you're trying to be the champion, or be competing and stuff. Your playmaker, your creator can't be your central defender. And lately, even though he's been awesome, David Luiz is kind of their playmaker because nobody in midfield knows how to make long passes. So he's the one that does all that. He's like the quarterback back there. He sends them on runs. But the thing that's lacking is they have a midfield that has a bunch of guys that just huff and puff, but they don't create. And that kept Newcastle in it the way it keeps everybody in it.
Mm-hmm. They need a box-to-box guy, yeah?
To me, it's not. Yes, it's not whether it's a box-to-box guy or a number 10 that's going to be creative right behind the forward line or whatever. They just, whatever position it is, they need a guy that can take the ball when the defense is good and just take on a guy in midfield. Like, they don't have that. Mm-hmm. Like, Kante is not going to just, like, take on a guy and create the start of a play. Like, he's good running for you. Kovacic is, he seems like a bit of a square peg, you know what I'm saying? Like, he brings more work ethic, whatever, drive to the team, and they keep going, but, like, their midfield and fucking Jorginho, he's good. He keeps the ball moving, but he's not Pirlo. He's not going to come up with the through passes that break the defense. Like, he comes up with, like, just keep it moving. A lot of balls, he just gets it passed right back to him or back, like, parallel back to the defense. Mm-hmm. So you need a guy that is more proactive and is going to ask questions of the defense so that when he has the ball and he dribbles a certain way, Hazard gets open. If you look, Hazard has been a shadow of himself lately because teams can just concentrate on him. They don't really score outside of him, you know?
True. He's still been playing well, though, considering what he's being asked to do, which is everything.
I agree, but like their championship season, they had enough distractions in the other, diversions on the other side of the field, in midfield, that his runs could be more effective. It's just that I don't think it has nothing to do with Hazard as much as I don't think that he's being as effective as he could be if he had the teammates with him.
Okay. Moving along, Everton hosting Bournemouth. Everton second half here really came out and
actually
did the thing basically.
First of all the big games on Saturday sucked. The Liverpool game was terrible. The Arsenal game was beyond despicable, and the Chelsea game was also boring as fuck. Now, the Everton-Bournemouth game, Bournemouth in the fucking first half was all over Everton. Like, they were playing really nice, but they didn't make it count, and Everton had some nice goals. Kurt Zouma. And
I felt like Bournemouth could have gotten something from this game, but
they should have gotten something from this game.
Mm-hmm.
They got
what else is there to say?
Their Barca contingent is actually doing good. Luca Digne is doing good. He had an assist in the goal, and Andres Gomez is also doing good. He is showing a lot of fucking fight and stuff. It's a weird game, but it was much more entertaining than anything that happened on Saturday. And Ademola Lookman assist to Dominic Calvert-Lewin was a nice goal too in injury time, but they already had it locked down by then.
Word up. All 3 points for Everton at home. Needed that. Go to the match of the week here in the EPL, and that is Tottenham at Wembley, at home at Wembley, hosting Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yes.
From the Shire.
yes.
His first real test.
It took a real Gunnar to fix Manchester. Manchester United came out with a team which was pretty much along the lines of what we expected. You know?
In what way?
Like the lineup. Mm-hmm. It didn't veer too far from what he's been doing. Victor Lindelof has been starting since he became coach. Ashley Young at right back didn't give you a lot of confidence, but like to play Luke Shaw at the left, like that's what you had.
He did a little bit different up front, I thought. I thought he had Rashford running more central most of the time in these other games, and here he was working the wing.
Yeah, he was trying to, but what I'm saying is like the lineup though.
The lineup.
Was what was expected.
Okay.
And From there, yeah,
He's been playing good lately, man.
Lindelof has been starting the last 4 or 5 games, and he's been playing good. This game, he's particularly good.
Yep.
And the story of this game, though, is David De Gea. And 2 things. A, David De Gea is a fucking god. Like, he had a lot of shots saved, but it was point blank and good saves. Like, the first Dele Alli shot at the beginning was kind of lame. He got it. But, like, he had, 13 saves in this game? 14?
11.
Okay.
So.
Either way, out of those, I'd say 8 of those were, like, really, really one-on-one. Like, a lot of times would be goals. And they went ahead, and Tottenham actually responded, and it was a good game, but the way they're in the front foot and how they look for attacking options is different. Like when they get the ball, when it was, I think, Kieran Tierney that lost the ball, they got to Pogba, and he immediately controlled one touch, and then second touch he had sent it across the field. And even Rashford, you could tell he's a man in form. He controlled it, second touch shot, like it was done. Like they're a better offensive executing team, because even though they had a lot of balls given away, they weren't afraid to try.
And I saw, as I mentioned, I think on a previous episode, I saw them do the triangle a lot more. Like, 3 players get together, let's work this, let's move the ball forward. And
they run towards the ball instead of running to cover a defensive position just in case we lose the ball, you know?
Yeah.
So
with that being said, the one thing that struck me even before I looked at the stats, I said this is a very Mourinho game plan. The game plan was soak up the pressure and hit him on the counter. But they executed to perfection.
But they were sending more on the counter, more guys forward.
Okay. Yeah.
And even when it's not the counter, when you have the ball one in midfield, they were in go mode. A lot of guys were making vertical runs, immediately. Whereas previously, like now, Pogba would be in the middle, and him and Ander Herrera would be getting the ball, and you'd see Lingard, Martial, Rashford, even Luke Shaw on the left. Like, they're going forward to create options, whereas in Mourinho's time, you get one, maybe 2 guys going forward. But yeah, conceptually speaking, it's the same. And then this game had a lot of fuck yous in it. Pogba being the starter, being the star basically of this game.
Yeah.
Lukaku, who Mourinho played for the fucking longest time, being benched.
Yep.
The last transfer, the last substitution of the game was?
Was it
Paul Pogba for Scott McTominay. He's
Dominate, yeah.
So, and then he came out after the game and he was like, "We're about going forward, not this boring sideways and backwards football." Yeah. I'm like,
so what is your take on that? So even outside of yes, everybody knows, including Paul Pogba, that his strength is not defense. Everybody knows that, but in the same way that I look at, I hate to always bring up another sport, but the same way I look at the Rockets being led by James Harden, who doesn't set a tone on defense, I feel like they're gonna ultimately struggle. And I tried to watch Pogba when he was on defense, or when he was without the ball or whatever, and what he was doing. He doesn't give a fuck about a set piece ever. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't. So I guess the question is, is that okay to be your leader? To be the guy, because he's obviously a strong personality in the locker room, and that's where Mourinho probably had the problem, is that, dude, you're just supposed to do what you're supposed to do, not just what you're good at, and say, I don't fuck with defense. I hate defense, which he came out after. I only say all this because he came out after the game and was like, yeah, I don't have to worry about defense now. I'm not that good at that. It's tough to hear that from your guy, from your number one.
It is, and he talks too much, and he needs to shut the fuck up. But if you have these guys that can create, that's the thing, in this day of advanced metrics, you're talking about James Harden. So James Harden taking it to the hoop is worth about 1.7 points an attempt, which is more than a regular possession. Mm-hmm. And Paul Pogba creates more expected goals than pretty much anybody anywhere close to Manchester United. So to recognize that and create a team around him that has a lot more ways to use that is just more effective. Whatever it may be. Like, yes, if as a leader he sucks, whatever. But if he gives you like 4 expected goals in a fucking game, like he's leading your team. And like, I'd rather he led my team in all the statistical categories, including W's, than to actually just like lead them from a mental perspective. You know.
Okay. Yeah.
And also, like, if that's your like football, basketball, whatever sport has been, like, if you're that good, the manager's job is to adjust you. Like, if you're a manager and you only expect people to do things one way, then that says a lot more about you too. Like, you should be flexible. Like, Alex Ferguson adjusted to Ronaldo. He's the one that challenged him to be more selfish, even though Alex Ferguson is the ultimate, like, team first kind of coach, you know? Like, so it's situational. And Mourinho approached Pogba as an opponent to defeat.
Yep.
And that's the only difference I see here, you know?
Interesting take. I like that. That was very well put. Chances here, Solskjaer. I mean, like, at what point do the upper brass need to take Ole as a serious contender for this job?
I think there's already a serious contender for this job.
I mean,
there's articles coming out about it. There's a lot going on. And I think that he needs more, like, they're going to play more big games, but first of all, like, he's kind of on loan. He's still under contract
with the other team, Malda,
yeah. So he might go back, or they might compensate them, because if they give them like $2 million, that's like their 5-year budget or something.
That's gonna be cheaper than getting Poch.
Yeah, he's gonna, like there's gonna be by like maybe $40 million. You know, so, but I think he's a serious contender. And I think that this game was big because, like, he played against the guy that he's basically vying for the job.
Much to be concerned about here with Tottenham. We haven't talked about them at all in this scenario.
So, Tottenham had Vertonghen just coming back from injury. And
played a good game, I thought.
Yeah, but he looked it like he was dragged out. Like, I thought that Toby covered a lot of ground, and
I felt like Phil Jones was playing like a Diego Costa type role. Like, he was just there to annoy Harry Kane. Harry Kane still did some work though.
Yeah, I mean, Phil Jones, I didn't understand more than the Vertonghen. Yeah, like, once you have Phil Jones in the fucking game, everybody looks like a good defender. But Harry Kane didn't seem himself.
Yeah, he had a decent game though.
I mean, he had a decent game, but you're a striker that's known for fucking making chances and scoring them, and he didn't. So,
sure.
Like, that's the thing about being the top tier striker as opposed to being, but that's the thing. Like, as a goalkeeper, he did, like, you know, if you have a full game of saves and you let one in, that's the standard you're held to. Like, that's a bad game all of a sudden because you didn't get your shutout, right? Mm-hmm. With a striker, you can have an okay game, but if you're not, like, getting it on target, or your rebound gets scored by somebody or whatever, if your team got shut out at the end of the day, yes, service was an issue also, but
I mean, where would you even?
You're playing against a team with a slow ass Nemanja Matic, Pogba, who obviously doesn't like defense, and Ander Herrera covering a lot of fucking space. Like,
yeah, I was actually fascinated to watch this United
because even
team.
the chances created and missed were a lot more by Son and Dele Alli than by Mr. Kane himself. He had, like, I think 1 or 2 saved, but, like.
So is there? I guess what I'm saying is, like, what is there to take away from this game for Tottenham? I mean, they played decent. They played really good in the second half. They just could not fucking beat DeGea. Just couldn't do it.
I agree, but I thought there were a couple of opportunities that, with better offensive coaching, they could have made it, because they shouldn't have shot directly at him all day. Like, they should have squared a lot of passes, because, like, that's the only, like, once you know that the guy is on, like, they tried the same approach for 90 fucking minutes. It was come through one-on-one, and there were multiple times, and we talked about this while we were, like, on the counter. Like, if you let one guy get it earlier, as opposed to, yes, you can get past Phil Jones, we get it, but that run makes it a one-on-one with David De Gea, which obviously wasn't happening. It was not happening. So you have to try something else.
A little bit more intricate in the final third.
A little, a last pass. Maybe. A last pass would have worked once he commits, like, especially on the counters, the couple of times they got him. Once he pulls out, like, you have to make that square because he was not letting you go through.
Maybe a little more Eriksson in this game. I didn't see him or hear him enough.
Yeah, Eriksson didn't really do his thing. I have to say, I feel like Under Herrera definitely got the better of him in that because Delhi did his thing. He was moving around. He made moves. He made mistakes too, but he was really involved. Eriksson did not show up for this game.
Well, could be disastrous for the Spurs as Harry Kane injured on the final play. I do not know the results of that yet, but they said it could be something. And Son goes away for the rest of the month, pretty much 5 games he's gonna miss. Not a good moment.
Chelsea right behind them.
1
point.
Yeah, man, trying to get this done early so that we can go watch the champions. Manchester City hosting Wolves.
Game of the week called Liverpool the champions. Everybody went crazy.
Well, yeah, well,
like you see the agenda is like, nah, he's just a dumbass that messed up.
Manchester City though. Wolves could be fun.
Should be fun. I think it's
up and down football.
Yeah, and in the tradition of whenever teams play each other, you have to find some rumor. Manchester City had to deny that they were going to sign Ruben Neves for £125 million, even though there was never that rumor until the game before they played each other. So yeah.
Oh shit, that's how it goes, man. All right, word up. Let's recap the really quickly top 4 stands at the moment. Liverpool is top of the table with 57 points. Manchester City are 7 back with the game in hand. 3rd place Tottenham have 48 points, and 4th place Chelsea has 47. 5th place and 6th place Arsenal and United are 41 points even. 2-goal difference for Arsenal.
Same conceded. Arsenal just scored 2 more goals.
What? Just sitting here?
No, I said they conceded the same amount. Arsenal just scored 2 more goals. They both have conceded a whopping 32 goals.
32. That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Liverpool has 10. Man City has 17. Tottenham 22. Chelsea 17.
Yeah,
and then 30 motherfucking 2.
That's crazy.
Stop getting trounced.
Top of the goals looks like Aubameyang, Salah, and Kane with 14 apiece. And Eden Hazard leading the league with 10 assists. Balling.
Out of those guys, I think that Aubameyang is the only one whose coach doesn't understand how to get the most out of him, and is also leading the league in scoring. I think Mo Salah is in an ideal situation. I think that Harry Kane, for a scorer, is also in an ideal situation. So, whereas Aubameyang is like playing as second striker behind Lacazette, which is kind of working, but give him more service.
Word up. All right. Moving along from the Premier League to La Liga. And there were some decent games as they returned back to action from their winter break.
With a bang on Friday.
And it started with Vallecano throwing up 4 on Celta Vigo 4-2.
It was wigga game, halftime 2-2. It started off with Raul de Thomas. So a bunch of guys with a lot of
first half brace.
Yeah, Raul Thomas, first half brace. They had Nestor Araujo and Maximilian Gomez, both with a goal on the other end, and stayed at 2-2 until the 77th minute when Raul de Thomas completes his hat-trick. And in injury time, Emiliano Velasquez gets his second assist to Bebe. And this is a typical Celta Vigo match. They might have won it 4-2, but they lost it 4-2.
They lost it 4-2.
Yeah.
Boom. Vallecano still like getting points, staying out of relegation. Not really. They're in the zone. 19 points. Dangerous. Yeah, no, they were doing good for a while. They must have like fallen the hell off at the end of the year there. They sit 17th and 18th, so that was really like a relegation type battle. Interesting. Moving along, Leganes.
Celta's having a shit season. That's more surprising.
Yeah, because they were high octane offense last year. Leganes hosting Huesca. Leganes fresh off a midweek defeat of Barcelona in the Copa, and they get the 1-0 over Huesca.
Yeah. Move their ass up to 13th place.
Yeah, they're gonna be safe.
If you can't beat Huesca, you go down. Is basically the rule. They only have 2 wins this season.
Yeah.
And they're firmly rooted in 11th place. I mean, on 11 points in 20th place.
Gotcha. And looking at the next game, I totally just mixed up Vallecano and Valladolid, because Valladolid's the one that Brazilian Ronaldo owns, right?
Yes.
Yes, and they were away to Valencia. That's who I was thinking of. Valencia 1-1. Valladolid.
Yeah, pulled off the tie. Mr. Danny Parejo shows up again and has a nice score. And in the 71st, but Ruben Alcaraz ties it. And Valladolid stay up, dude. They're doing their thing. They're 14th place. They're only 4 points behind Betis in 7th place.
I was going to say 18-7 is
1 point behind Valencia, who happens to be in 10th place even after this game.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. Word up. Moving along, we go to Girona, hosting Alaves, 4th place Alaves, or at least at that moment, and Girona get the draw at home.
Mr. Christian Stuani, famous last season for scoring in all the big games for Girona, hits him up early in the 12th minute, and then Borja Baston ties it in the 50th right after halftime. 1-1, shares point.
Alaves could not pull back a goal, even though they dominated in shots and shots on target and way more active second half, but could not pull it back, but still get a point.
They seem like they're losing steam.
It is true. Villarreal hosting Getafe, and Villarreal at home take the L.
Villarreal have been taking too many L's for their comfort. They're about to go down if they don't stop fucking around.
Missed a penalty at the end of this game. Off-target penalty. Whoops. Tie the game. That sucks. And they had an own goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you deserve to lose all those 3 points, man.
Yeah, they tried hard.
Oh, yeah.
They earned that loss if they can do that.
They did. And, of course, Angel Rodriguez, the super sub, comes in, gets a goal and a yellow card. Boom, 2-1. Bitches. Getafe take all the points. Getafe moves up.
The assist after he scored against Barca last week.
Getafe move up in the standings to 6th place. Go ahead. Atletico Madrid hosting Levante, and a penalty, 57th minute by Griezmann, saves them. Talk about that penalty, man.
VAR given penalty of handball, which the guy had his back to the ball and wasn't even looking at it. So the VAR official decided it was worthy of a penalty. It has since been appealed. I don't know what the fuck they're expecting from it, but
okay,
just to show that they are, just to show their chagrin.
Their chagrin, yes. Speaking of chagrin, that must be what was on Sevilla's face as they went away to Athletic Bilbao. Bilbao was on a down season. Sevilla top 4.
Yeah, my man who hasn't been scoring at home ever, the black guy on the All Basque team, Iñaki Williams. He hit him up with 2 goals. One of which was like just speed. He burnt the guy from half field, went around the goalie and scored. Iñaki Williams, big up yourself.
Word up. 2-0 over Sevilla. Sevilla is still on winter break, apparently. That's a tough loss.
Yeah,
man.
They wanted nothing about being close to the top, man. Altitude sickness sucked. They think they started getting nosebleeds. They're like, let's go down.
No. What are we doing?
There's no oxygen out here.
A team used to be in at the top, Barcelona, hosting Eibar, and take all 3 points, man, with a 3-0 here. Suarez.
Yeah, Mr. Philip Coutinho played in this game after a whole week of he sucks, he'll never get a game in, They played Rakitic, Busquets, and Arthur in midfield, with Coutinho playing instead of Dembele, who played the full game of the King's Cup in the midfield, in the midweek as a striker. So he sat on the bench, and Phil Coutinho was playing on the right and played a lot of good football in this game. Set up Luis Suarez's first goal, finishes 1-0 at the half. They come back, and within the space of a few minutes, they doubled and tripled the lead. 53rd minute, Messi goal from Luis Suarez, and then 59th minute, Sergio Roberto to Luis Suarez for the 3-0. Easy game, kind of.
14 goals and 5 assists for Luis Suarez so far this year.
There are 2 players in all of Europe that have 10 goals and 10 assists plus. Who are these 2 players?
Eden Hazard.
Yes.
And Lionel Messi.
Yep.
Yeah. Ballin'. Yeah, man, Barcelona stayed top of the table, and there was a pretty interesting game here we mentioned last week. Real Betis, the Royal Battle, the Battle Royale. Real Betis hosting Real Madrid. Madrid get all 3 much-needed points. The late
They huffed and they puffed for that fucking all 3 points. They went ahead early through a wicked Luka Modric goal, which just happens to be, in case you wanted to know how badly their season is going, his first goal of the season.
Oh, the Ballon d'Or guy. The best player in the world.
Best player in the world. 4 players above Lionel Messi.
4 players.
Yeah, he scored his first goal. 2018, Ronaldo finished as their 2018 top scorer, even though he was not there since August. Okay.
That's pretty priceless, man.
They put out a fucking weird-ass team that should have actually given up some points after Modric went ahead 1-0. Sergio Canales off of Giovanni Lo Celso of PSG assist makes it 1-1, and they had him until Mr. Dani Ceballos comes on as a sub and makes things happen.
So, question. Because when I looked at the stats for this game, I was blown away by Betis' possession.
Yeah.
Very rarely do I see Real Madrid with 27% possession.
Yeah. That's a serious team. The Betis, the Quique Setien movement is on. You know, if they had better finishing up front, if they had a good striker to complement this team, they have a good above average midfield, above average defense. They just need a guy that consistently can take it on their back and just score.
Word up. As mentioned, though, that was huge 3 points for Real Madrid.
A Real Madrid that only had 250 passes to 713 by Betis.
It's fascinating. So that moves Real Madrid into 4th place, actually.
Yeah, a tie on points.
Yeah, tied on points with 3rd place Sevilla. 2nd place Atletico Madrid are 5 points clear of Sevilla, and Barcelona is in 1st, 5 points clear of Atletico Madrid. If this gets up to double digits, you start to think it's a wrap, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really looking like it's a wrap already.
It is kind of. Barca had a little bump this year, and a bump earlier this year, and if they were to replicate that, I feel like they could let Atleti back in, but it would have to be kind of colossal.
Yeah, but I don't think that this iteration of it, the way Atletico Madrid is built, either Barca or Real Madrid have to finish lower than 90 points for them to win the championship. They don't have that shootout, you know? Yeah. And the year they won it, it was like that. Both teams struggled, and the point total went low, and that they snuck it. And that's not looking like it's going to happen.
Word up.
Like, unlike last season where it was based on defense, there's a lot of well-playing guys in the Barca team this season, so I don't see them dropping enough points for anybody to make it.
Okay. 5th place Alaves, 6th place Getafe. Alaves 6 points clear into Europe. Should be interesting. As he mentioned about Lionel Messi, he leads the league, La Liga, in 17. Also became the first La Liga player ever to score 400 goals in the league. He's already owned the record for a bunch of years.
Yeah, like he's been the top scorer in the league for ages. I think it was like 320 or 350 is where he passed the main dude. So
Yep. Word up.
The interesting thing is I think there's either the guy for Madrid or something that has 500 goals.
Yeah.
If Messi just produces at the current rate he is for like 2.5 seasons, he can reach 500 goals.
Yeah, for sure. I think so. What do you think?
Like league goals.
Like actual
league goals, not just goals.
True.
That'd be fucking nuts.
So real quick, man, like I said, League One was back in action. That translated into a Lille victory over Cannes. Lyon drew with Stade Rennes.
After having a terrible first half at home, which they were booed at, and had two substitutes, Nabil Fekir at halftime, and one of the comments on while I was watching the game was that might have been Nabil Fekir's worst 45 minutes of football in his Lyon career, which is basically his whole football career.
Because, he's only...
Homegrown.
Yeah, he's homegrown. PSG got a 3-0 away to Amiens. OGC Nice with a 1-0 over Bordeaux.
OGC helped us get to be the best job.
Dijon stealing a point from Montpellier. And Marseille and Monaco tying 1-1.
Yeah, Monaco signed Cesc Fabregas. He's doing the thing.
3.5 years. He'll do it. You think that'll help? That'll be a major assist for them.
I don't know,
to
but
survive,
that is
right?
all tax-free dollars, each and every one of them.
I like the idea of retiring in Monaco a lot more than fucking Shanghai or...
That's what I'm saying. If you can get that deal,
Columbus,
you save
Ohio.
them. You're hanging out in Monte Cristo or whatever, and just live the life, man.
Live the fucking life. You're not lying.
You don't have to go to fucking Shanghai or Beijing or Guangzhou or something. Like, you can just hang out down the street. You can go watch a game.
Dude, quick little train ride to Florence, to Rome.
London, wherever.
Milan, yeah. Woo. You ain't lying, man. Go ahead, Cesc.
You go to China, you committed. I would even understand going to the Arab leagues over China because you can just catch a flight back.
So, what was the kid from Chelsea? Ramirez? Ramirez went.
Yeah.
Is he still over there?
Okay. He's wherever the fuck he wants
Oscar?
to be. He's
Oscar
rich.
too?
Yeah, they're rich out there, but like, they're football dead.
Football dead. Yeah.
Yannick Carrasco trying to get a fucking pay cut to come to Arsenal because he's tired of being in China.
And did what's his name go back over there? Our boy from last year, Golinho.
Paulinho, yeah, he's back there. Made a profit. They're saying that's one of the reasons they bought Malcolm is because they think you can just flip him these days.
So crazy, man. All right, word up. Move along to the award section, man. Dude of the week goes to...
Dude of the week we would have to give to the one, the only, the wall. David DeGea.
DeGea. Go ahead, MC8.
11 shots faced, all of them denied. Put
Let me stop.
half of Tottenham's team in his pocket. It was like, no Delhi today. No son. No son.
No son.
It was like, nah, you won't get Kane. Like, nah, none of that.
Scott King.
Yep.
Goal of the week goes to...
Goal of the week I would want to give to Mr. Tom Cleverley of Watford. Ex of Manchester United, I don't know how, but he had a wicked volley to get them the 3 points against Crystal Palace.
Word up. All right, upcoming. Got some good games as Bundesliga and Serie A return to the fold. Napoli hosting Lazio.
Yes, Napoli-Lazio should be interesting. Napoli hasn't looked any less entertaining since Sarri has left them. In fact, if anything, Sarri has looked a lot less entertaining since he left Napoli. So,
Interesting. Lazio doing their racist thing whenever they can.
That's
Fuck y'all. Leipzig. Oh man, Bundesliga comes back kind of hard with Hoffenheim, Bayern, Leverkusen, Gladbach, and Leipzig, Dortmund.
yeah, Leipzig, Dortmund, next to Bayern, Dortmund is becoming one of the most heated rivalries because the fans hate the Leipzig so much. So that should be a fire-ass game, especially since it's going to be should we say, it's going to be at Red Bull?
At the Red Bull.
Okay.
Yep.
The Red Bull is now a location, people.
At Red Bull. Oh man. Yeah, man. Bayern trying to make some moves for some young players in the market. Trying to update the squad a little bit.
Yeah, they need to, but this Hoffenheim game should be interesting.
Away.
Yeah, if they get the points and Dortmund struggle, then the league is wide open again. So Dortmund need to beat Leipzig. I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping they do.
Yeah, same here. In La Liga, Real Madrid hosting Sevilla. These are, as you mentioned before, they are tied even for points, third and fourth place respectively in La Liga. So winner would go move up.
Yeah.
Well,
and also
solidify.
have the tiebreaker.
And have the tiebreaker. Yeah.
It should be fun.
Well, see about that. And the big match in Premier League is Arsenal hosting Chelsea. That's pretty I think it's more crucial for Arsenal.
Yeah, Chelsea is safely fourth. Like, if they move up to third, yeah, cool. We passed our Tottenham, but it's not really like there's still a 6-point gap between fourth and fifth. And Arsenal has Manchester just caught them, and they need to make moves.
This could be the beginning of the end. Beginning of the Emery.
I don't know. I think that he's going to stay for a while anyways, but even whatever happens to them, I don't think it has much of a bearing because, like, if you look at Arsenal, like, they beat Tottenham and then went on a bad stretch. Like, they've lost to teams and then got a decent stretches, so it doesn't seem like it affects them too much. Maybe because he just rotates his team so fucking much they don't know what they're doing.
He just seems sketchy, man. I don't know, but you know,
I don't like the people that just make changes to make changes. Like, if it doesn't make sense when you look at it, if it doesn't make sense even after you're playing it, like, why are we doing this fucking bullshit?
Yeah. No, to your point of the lineup earlier, like, dude, can you get a creative mid in there, please? It's not Iwobi.
And it's like, and if it doesn't work out, you will get roasted, and it doesn't work out a lot more than it actually does work out. Mm-hmm. And I have to say, in retrospect, I understand why Neymar didn't want to sit in a fucking office and watch film with you. You don't qualify to watch film with Neymar, my youth. Yeah. You don't see things that they do. Like, this guy was, like, that was a terrible team he put out this week, man. Fuck you.
Yes, fuck you, and peace, see you later. That is the match, Diving for Glory, posting every Monday and Thursday during Champions League week, which we are almost there, maybe another month, I believe. So you can ruin all your Valentine's Day plans by telling your girl you are busy because there's games on.
Don't cancel your dates because Liverpool got lost to Bayern Munich.
All right, man. Don't forget at divingforglory.com and YouTube and iTunes. You can find us at Diving for Glory on Twitter and Facebook. That's the match. Holla, holla, Sir Solomon Corciola.
Peace.
One.
Diving.
What do you think it's gonna do?
He's not a man. There's nothing more to say.
Diving.